And go live.
Tweet, sent. Let's go.
Perfect. Do the typical. What's going on, everybody? It is Wednesday night. That means it is time for a late night Reds Talk live here on YouTube. Thank you all for tuning in as always. Very excited. We're post All-Star break now, I guess. No, middle of All-Star break, post All-Star game, I should say. Getting ready for the second half of the season for another exciting series with the Brewers this weekend. I am Tim Daniel, as always, going around with our crew, Mr. Red Leg Nation himself, Nicholas Kirby.
What is going on? How about that finish to the first half? It's nice. I feel like we have 2 weeks in a row where we can be positive. It's been like every other week was like, yeah, great week. And then the next week was like, it's okay. It was a rough week, but we're okay. And then 2 weeks in a row, where we can be really super positive. So that's exciting.
Yes, absolutely. And also joining us, like always, wearing his awesome "We Are an Effing Nightmare" shirt, former big league pitcher, Mr. Carlos Guevara.
What's up, y'all? Hopefully this shirt works better this year than last year.
Yeah.
Too soon.
Too soon. Yes. Joining us this week, you can check her out the Cincinnati Enquirer, also with Q102. This is Miss Lindsay Patterson. Lindsay, welcome to Late Night Reds Talk. How you doing?
I'm good. Everything's going really well right now for the Reds, so I'm doing good, joined by you guys.
Yeah, we're glad to have you here. I know the first thing we got to get to is you told us before you got on the air you're the big hype for the Reds, so obviously you're excited about this season so far. What are you feeling from watching this ball club so far this season?
Oh my goodness, where can you go? And I think that's one of the biggest things. Obviously, everybody that's on here have followed the team for a really long time. There's a lot of ups and downs and all the buying and selling talk. But I think what's really cool about this team right now is you can look at the rookies, you can look at some of the vets, the OGs out there, and there's just a lot of excitement when it comes to all the players all around. So there's so many things to point to. But I think just like the rookies' performance and production right now has been something really fun to see for the fan base.
It has been for sure. As we talk every week about India and Stevenson and all those guys. I know Nick has said his next Reds jersey will be a Tyler Stevenson jersey. Has it been ordered yet?
Not yet.
Christmas is around the corner, buddy.
Yep.
We got you.
Yeah.
Andrew, listen.
Well, yeah, like you kind of mentioned, just kind of the mixture of talent and everything there as well. But coming off this last weekend, they had the Brewers series. They take 3 of 4 there. What was your reaction to seeing what the team did that series and getting ready for this next one coming up?
It's crazy because going into that series, I think a lot of people, any Cincinnati sports fan would look at it and say, there's no way they're going to take 3 or 4 when we really need them. I said we. I don't play for the Reds. I take that back. When I know how people feel about we.
It's okay. We're a we. We're a we.
Yeah, we're a we show.
And we have Carlos. Carlos is in the Reds minor league system, so we actually can legitimately say we.
Okay, for Carlos, I'm speaking for him too. I think you look at that and seriously just going into it. I know they have another big series coming up at home with the Brewers, but you looked at it and everything against the NL West and how they struggled with the Padres series. There's no way they're going to catch up with the first place team in the NL Central and do what they were able to do. And 4 games, it's not a lot when you have the first place team coming to Great American Ballpark. So I think for them to actually do it when you really wanted them to take 3 or 4. And I thought if you could split, that's a win-win situation. I would have probably taken it before the series. So to be able to take 3 or 4, I think that's just crazy because you don't always get what you wish for when you're a Reds fan.
Isn't that the truth? Especially when Peralta's got a no-hitter through 5 innings and you still pull that one off.
Yep.
You get Brandon Woodruff, who's awesome, and you manage to get to him. He scored a run in the first inning. So yeah, it was definitely exciting. It was a lot of fun. How did you enjoy the All-Star festivities? Not only Castellanos and Winkers getting in the game, but Jose Barrera and Nick Lodolo doing their thing in the Futures game.
There's a lot of excitement. I mean, goodness, I talked about the rookies before, but you even look younger than that, the future of the Cincinnati Reds. You have to be just excited to know what's about to happen with this team. And then obviously, Nick Castellanos, I've already said it plenty of times, build the statue at Great American Ballpark. He's so exciting. I've used him as a comparison, and I'm sorry to bring in a little bit of football in here, but Joe Burrow, he gets fans excited. He has that swagger, and that's what you see from Nick. And then obviously Jesse Winker, that stuff is really exciting. Obviously you want to see him produce a little more in the All-Star game, but it's all about fun. It's all about fun and making it there. And I think it was really cool to see him on the national stage. And I feel like they're just getting started with what they're going to be able to do in the second half of the season. Those guys look like they're having a really good time. And I just hope they can stay on this roster for a few years to come.
Yeah, for sure. I was actually watching the Fernando Tatis document or little thing they put together right now, and AJ Preller was talking about, how they were talking about locking him up long term, and they're like, I mean, this is the kid that, you can build a statue of. He brings excitement to the game. He brings fans to the game, something that, you can get excited about daily. And I'm like, hello, Bob, listen to AJ. Lock him up.
And you see that with other teams out there. I mean, even the Padres are a really good example. They have the opportunity to keep this guy on the roster. I know it's going to take a chunk of coin because he could opt out and leave after that season, but I just feel like he's what you need on this roster for some of the young guys out there. I mean, I know he's getting a little bit older, but just the season he was able to have here, you've got to figure out a way to keep this guy long term. I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, that may be wishful thinking, and maybe I'm too optimistic and positive, but it's just, he's so fun every night. And there's plenty of games you can point to with Nick just over the last couple months when you needed that hit or you needed the lead, and he comes up, and of course it's electric. I mean, you can point to the grand slam, anything that he's able to produce out there, he just steps up when you need him to. And this team, you just don't count him out ever.
Yes. Sunday was the perfect example.
He kind of does have that like larger than life figure. Like you compared him to Joe Burrow. I mean, it's the same. I think it's comparable. You feel like whenever he comes to the plate, something good is going to happen, and can't have enough of those guys on your roster. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, look, we've dealt with heartbreak in Cincinnati sports. I had no choice but to root for the Cincinnati sports teams, and just seeing what this 2021 season is about, and just all the different all-stars on the team, in the rookies producing productive optimism for this team to be where they're at to start the second half of the season, you can't not be excited. I mean, if you're negative and you're not, thinking, oh, this team's not doing enough for this, you can talk about that another day. And yes, they do have decisions they have to make in the next couple weeks. But at the same time, if you can't enjoy this series coming up at Great American Ballpark, I don't even know why you're a fan to begin with.
Yeah, but Lindsay, you have to remember, I think someone in your stature should know, you're talking about Cincinnati sports fans here. So, I mean, everyone finds a way to turn for the worse. It's, well, Nick Castellanos having this excellent year. Yeah, but he'll be playing for the Yankees next year. And it's like, do we have to do that? We don't really have to do this.
No, you have to just sit back and enjoy it. And I know it's really easy to look at Cincinnati. I mean, you could look at the postseason last year, what happened against the Braves. Any Bengals postseason heartbreak, it's there, and everybody knows it's there. But at the same time, when a team is winning, when a team is fun, like we see down at Great American Ballpark and even on the road, sit back and enjoy it, because I have no clue why people just want to be miserable or find the negative with the team right now. And look, this weekend could go really bad, but they could also gain ground in the NL Central. There's still another half of baseball to play. So just sit back and enjoy it, because this team could take their division this year.
Yeah, I definitely think at this stage, we really should just sit back and appreciate what they've done. We'll get to the trade deadline. We'll get to the second half and how it all turns out. But, just looking at FanGraphs, they weren't very optimistic about the Reds. They were less optimistic than I was. They had the Reds projected at 79.4 wins. Reds are currently on pace for 86.4 wins. So they have outperformed what their expectations by the computer is. So, I mean, you have to appreciate that. And they've done that without Suarez producing, who was supposed to be the best position player on the team going into the year. They've done it with Sonny Gray on the IL. They've done it with their top two bullpen guys on the IL. Sit back and appreciate what this team's been able to accomplish. We don't know what the second half will bring, but they're definitely in the race.
Yeah, and I think you bring up a lot of good points where they're at with what they haven't had in some of the games when you talk about health, just the optimism of obviously what we've talked about, the guys who are producing out there. And I know this is another take. I'm very careful when I say it, but I think a lot of people can agree that a guy like David Bell, I wouldn't be surprised if an extension happens soon and deserved. Well, again, we don't know what the second half is going to look like, but where he is right now, if you would have told me prior to the season, I think every single Reds fan would take it and run at the second half of the season. And what they have been able to see with some of these rookies, and then obviously some of the older guys on the roster too. Even Joey Votto at times coming back from injury, I didn't see that coming. And just to have a guy like that, there was a play, a couple, probably the last homestand, and I'm losing my train of thought on the game, but just seeing him watch Tyler Stevenson help them for the go ahead and just run out there and just take his time to go see him as the OG and the rookie and just greeting him. It was like the future and the past. And it was just really cool to see. And I think that this team has that all around. So, from guys like David Bell to some of the rookies, some of the older guys, I think you should just sit back and appreciate what you have in Cincinnati right down at Great American Ballpark with this huge series coming up.
Yeah, David Bell contract extension is long past due. We're definitely in agreement there. He's done a fantastic job. He's not perfect. There's never going to be a manager that we're going to like to 100%. Never. They don't exist. There's things that he does that I don't agree with. There's things that I don't understand, but a lot of times things probably don't understand. There's probably a reason that he can't say. He is the spokesperson, and sometimes he has to take one for the team. And I think he's taken one for the team a lot. But yeah, I'm right with you. I don't know why they've waited this long. I think they should just get that taken care of now, so that's not weighing on his, on his mind, because he's human. Your contract runs up in 2 months. You're going to want that security. So yeah, I'm with you. They should do that tomorrow.
I'm in for it. I'll pitch in. We'll start the GoFundMe.
Done.
Yeah. I think one of the things too to kind of talk about, and you mentioned, obviously we've talked about the injuries and everything this team's battled all year, but they are getting healthier. One of those, especially this Friday, is supposed to be the return of Michael Lorenzen to the team, who pitched pretty well in Louisville, and as Nick pointed out in a text message to us the other day, got to swing the bat a little bit down there. So seeing our Michael Lorenzen, are not so much Shohei Ohtani get back to the team is pretty exciting. So pumped for that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that you can look for, and the health of the team. Obviously, this team will still have to make some moves, or they should make some moves in the next couple of weeks, because they are, or they should be, buyers. But you look like a guy like Michael Lorenzen and what he could bring, another healthy arm out there in the next couple of weeks. And he said, I'm going to be back Friday, which is a couple days away, and it's just pretty unreal that you hope the health continues with this team in the second half of the season.
Yeah, that's the main thing, is health. Keep these guys healthy. Majority of them, get them lots of playing time, let them have fun, and they're going to be in a great spot come September.
They are. Where are you guys with I am optimistic, and I see a little bit of it on Red's Twitter. And then obviously I'm going to admit this on here. Didn't realize I wasn't following Nick until a couple weeks ago, because his tweets are amazing from all the stats, what's going on. I can get his recap every night, his radio highlights. Where are you guys overall with this team just after pretty much the half of the season and 4 games back?
Well, I think they're going to win the World Series.
I love it. Print the shirts. Print the shirts.
Yeah, print them now.
I'm in.
I don't know. You guys go first.
I've got them.
Go ahead, Carlos.
I've got them right there, being in it right there in the last 2 weeks of the season. Like, they could be up 2 games, they could be down 3 games, like anywhere in between. If they're, 90% healthy, I think they get there. I think we're going to see that Brewers starting pitching come down a little bit, just like pitching all across baseball is going to come down, and that's going to benefit the lineup of the Reds. They're already seeing the ball a whole lot better. We've gotten harder contact since they've made that sticky ban. So yeah, I'm super optimistic about it. Nick doesn't let anybody get down on the Reds at all. If we try to say something, he punches us through the phone, reminds us why.
Yeah, I saw last night, Nick, that when people were complaining about Fernando Tatis being mic'd up during the All-Star game, you were like, it's an exhibition game, guys.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Why do you dislike that? Like,
I know what you mean.
I'm sitting there in awe, and people are complaining about whatever.
Yeah. I would say I'm definitely excited. I feel like if this team can kind of stay afloat for July and August, September schedule is very favorable. We've talked about that quite a bit. Like the last, you got quite a bit of Pirates games, your last chunky games in the season. So you stay where you're at now. You definitely make something happen, get some trades into there. As much as we don't know when Moustakas is going to be back, we do know that we should start prepping pretty soon for Nick Senzel to be back by all accounts, looking like probably August or so. And I think getting those guys back along with the Lorenzens is going to make a lot of difference for this team. So, and where do they go from there as far as the Vladimir Gutierrez of the group, the Jeff Hoffmans? What do they do there? Hoffman had a couple rehab outings in Louisville. Has pitched pretty okay. He's not walking a ton of dudes down there. So hopefully that translates when it comes back to the big league squad. So I'm excited. Plus, maybe there is that small possibility of a Hunter Green Nick Lodolo thing this year to help this team in the postseason run. So that makes it exciting as well.
Why do I feel like we're going to be at Great American Ballpark late September, maybe early October, and Hunter Green's there? It's sold out. It could be a weeknight. They're going to walk it off to win the division, and he's going to come out, and it's going to be crazy. I don't know why. It feels like Hunter Green is going to make his debut at Great American Ballpark or come back out for the 2021 season at Great American Ballpark, and the place is going to be lights out. Just feels that way.
I love it.
Chapman vibes. Yeah.
Yeah, I was at Clinchmas when Chapman came in and got the win.
It was a good time. It was a good time. I feel like everybody was there. I think I bought a ticket for $5 and then ended up going, and it was a cool place. I can't believe how long ago it was, but
I bought the senior citizen tickets online because I knew they wouldn't check my ID.
Damn.
So
it's a good move.
Yeah. It was like $10 senior citizen ticket to see them walk off and win the division for the first time in 15 years. It was worth it.
I love it.
I was there. I think Carlos was playing professional baseball, so I guess he has an excuse.
What year was that?
2010.
No, I think I had retired. Yeah.
That was
so no excuse. No excuse.
Yeah.
Should have been there.
No, I went to the Giants playoff games in San Francisco, Reds, Giants, and the.
So you felt pretty good when they were.
Those were the good ones. We were in Cincinnati.
I don't think you want me coming to those games.
Yeah, I was at the games here, so I'm with you. Yeah, for sure. So you've talked quite a bit about being at the stadium so far. I think what I've noticed, and a lot of this is definitely COVID related. I've been to about 7 games this year. My wife has been saying that we need to get season tickets for next season because I go too much. So I'm definitely excited about that. But the atmosphere at the ballpark, I think a lot of it is just because, like, 1, the team's good, and 2, everyone just missed it so much from not being able to go last season. It's just so different. Everyone's super into it. It's not like the 9th inning anymore, and people are doing the wave. They still are doing the wave from time to time, which is terrible. Ban it. But in the 9th inning when the game's on the line, they're not doing it so much. So I think that's been really awesome to see. Like, it used to be like the Cubs would be in town, and all you'd hear was like the Cubs fans in the blue shirts. But the last series when the Reds swept them, it was fairly even in the stands.
Yeah, you can't do the wave, or Joey Votto will steal third base.
Yeah, I saw that.
I love that. No, I agree with you. I think that Cup series was really telling, and just it could be a Thursday night or a Friday night, and obviously your Saturday afternoon games or Sunday fun days are going to fill up, and even business day specials. But I think I've been more impressed with just the Thursdays or weeknight games when the place is full. And I know people want to get back to normal and get back to the ballpark. Obviously, we have a fun, exciting team, but I think it's pretty cool to see. And look, the weather, it could rain all weekend. I'm hoping it doesn't. It could be really just an insane atmosphere at Great American Ballpark Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. Well, Lindsay, you said you give us 20 minutes. We're definitely appreciate it. Guys, anything you want to touch on before you let her set her free?
No, just thanks so much, Lindsay, for coming on. Really enjoyed it. Love your enthusiasm for this team. Keep it up. It's fantastic.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. It's nice meeting you.
Keep up the great work, guys.
Perfect. Thanks again, Lindsay. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So that was Lindsey Patterson. That was a really fun guest to have on the show. Very enthusiastic. I love the optimism. Most of the people we have on here, are definitely our media members. They talk about the team. They talk about what they see. But like having someone who's like us and just super like a fan and just like expresses the things we feel. I definitely love having that on the show.
Yeah,
This was
absolutely.
great.
Yeah. So dudes, let's talk. Obviously last we talked was getting ready for the Brewers series, and we said what Lindsey said. We said, if they split, you feel pretty good, but it did take 3 or 4. Pretty exciting stuff. I think the thing that really jumped out the most, we've talked all year about how this team just has this never say die attitude. But now we're moving forward with a team that just won a couple games in the 9th inning against the Brewers. So that's got to make you feel pretty good about going to this series, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And just the way they won those games. I mean, they weren't just all like, 4-1 wins. And, the first game they, left the bases loaded twice, and everyone's like, oh, Cincinnati in a big series, and they lost that game after fighting back. And then they won, they won 3 in a row, blew a lead. Suarez hits a home run off Hader, blew another lead. Castellanos, drives in the go-ahead run. Just the team we've seen all year that they're not stopping. And I think they put themselves in a really good spot to where they don't feel like they have to sweep the Brewers this weekend. Because if they would have split, or God forbid they would have lost 3 or 4 Milwaukee, it would have kind of been like, they almost got to sweep this series. But I think, man, you just win this series, you're in a really good spot. Yeah. And honestly, even if you lost the series, you lost 2 of 3, you're still not in a terrible spot. You still would be 4-3 in those games, which is kind of what we said is what they have to at least do. So yeah, I think they're in a really good spot.
Yeah, anything other than a sweep, you got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, knock on wood.
I don't have any wood around, some bitch. All right, there's the door. So yeah. So Carlos, now that we have seen Mr. Josh Hader implode 2 days in a row, do you feel like the Reds may finally have his number with the way they're seeing the ball right lately?
They might, man. I mean, that's all it takes is 2-3 bad outings against one team, and it's in there. Like, as a pitcher, you can't get it out. Like, it's tough. So, yeah, I mean, especially if Gino comes to the plate. Gino's still pissed about that up and in. That was no accident either.
No, that definitely wasn't. I was going to ask you guys about that, but yes, I definitely agree. I felt like it was kind of like, the day before he hits a homer off him, the next day just happens that they're up and in. Like, it's not like Tyler Mallay's up and in where you're like, he does that a lot. It was definitely egregious.
That was his first of the year. I don't think he's dumb enough to actually completely intentionally hit a guy with like a 250 on base percentage in a tie game. That seems kind of my guess is he probably was like, I'm going to throw it up and in, back him off the plate. I'm sick of this guy. He annoyed me yesterday. I don't really think he was trying to hit him, but he was, I think, intentionally trying to
make him uncomfortable.
Scare him, make him uncomfortable, and it sailed a little bit farther. But yeah.
You hate to see it, guys. You just hate to see it.
Yeah.
I loved Carlos's
at the All-Star game, though.
Yeah, I loved your tweet to Carlos with his video at the All-Star game when you were like, "Hater, don't turn around. Gino Suarez is right behind you."
In your nightmares.
I love it. And then of course Corbin Burns throws 70 pitches in the All-Star game. So
yeah, I was surprised. I was surprised they let 2 guys pitch. It's not very often that you see a team have 2 starting pitchers pitch in an All-Star game where their manager isn't the manager of the team, so they definitely had to get that okayed by the Brewers, which I don't know. I mean, I was surprised. I mean, I don't know. Maybe both of those guys were just like, hey, we really, really want to pitch. And, you're kind of in a spot where, if they're really lobbying hard to pitch, you don't want to, take that away from them. But
right.
But yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they match up with this weekend, because I tweeted out, in 2019 there was 8 starting pitchers that pitched in the All-Star game that year for the NL, and none of them pitched before Sunday. So I think Freddie Peralta threw like 11 pitches. So I know that's just like kind of throwing on his bullpen day in a much different environment. But I don't know, the way they've been very, very careful with their starting pitchers. I don't know. They might throw Hauser in one of the games, or Lauer.
I would imagine they'd play it on the safe side. It'd be kind of silly for them to push them at this point, with the lead that they have. And I mean, there's a lot of games left to be played, so I really doubt that they try to push them.
Yeah. Well, there is a lot of games to be played, but after this weekend, they only played the Reds 3 more times. So, I mean,
but you'd rather have that health for the rest of the teams.
Oh, I agree, but that's why I was surprised they let both pitch. I thought they'd been like, hey, you know what? We'll let one of you guys pitch. You can pitch again on Sunday. This is our big series. We will, we'll take it easy on you guys later in the year. I don't know. The Brewers, I feel like they have really not. I don't know how to say it. I feel like they've kind of overlooked the Reds when they've played them. They've been very careful with their pitchers all year, but they have had chances when they could have pitched, Woodruff on normal rest, and they pushed him an extra day to have to keep with rest. And I mean, they've just lost 6 of 7 to the Reds, so it's backfired in some degree. They've let the Reds hang around when they could almost put them away. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to guess, obviously what they're going to throw out there for that series. I have to imagine Brandon Woodruff probably pitches Friday. Would probably be my best guess, just for, like you mentioned, everything that happened, and just the second half of the season starting fresh. You want to kind of have your guy out there. But we'll see. Obviously having 2 starters out there certainly doesn't hurt. But how about the NL Central just full on represented in the All-Star game? The starting pitcher, 3 starting outfielders, starting middle infielder. Like, how about the NL Central getting their name out there in there, right?
Pirates, baby, 2 starters. Let's go.
Yeah.
And neither one of them will probably be on the team at the end of the year.
No, I saw like the Adam Frazier stuff, and so I kind of read it with they're like, yeah, they have like a lot of offers for him already, and I was like, oh, good. So
yeah, he's a heck of a player.
He is
great on base guy. Yeah, definitely a guy. Those last 9 games and last 2.5 weeks of the season, you'd love to be in a different uniform.
Yeah, absolutely.
American League uniform.
Specifically, yes.
Far away. Yes,
far away. So obviously we kind of touched on it a bit ago. Michael Lorenzen looks like he'll be coming back. He said Friday. He got some time in AAA, obviously during his rehab stint. Had a couple plate appearances as well. So I feel like, we've talked a lot about like getting the position guys back, the Senzels, Moustakas, and things like that. But, we've talked quite a bit too about, Antone and Lucas Sims, but getting Antone, Sims, and Lorenzen back looking like in the near future certainly also kind of boosts a lot for this team. Obviously it's still, we still want them to go get a reliever if they can, but I feel like just getting those 2 guys back in your bullpen, where we've been nervous about this bullpen all year, is definitely going to kind of hopefully put some of those pieces back together for the squad.
Yeah, I still think they need a shortstop too, though.
Yeah, for sure.
I think shortstop. I've been saying it. I know no one agrees with me, but I think shortstop's just as big of a deal. I think, sure, you could call up Barrio if you aren't able to get one, and maybe he'll produce. But wouldn't you much rather call him up and he's kind of in a more of a utility role where there's not as much pressure on him? Because if you don't go get a shortstop, you call him up, you can't go back. There's no going and getting a shortstop. There's even the waiver deadline's gone. You can't get guys off waiver. 31st is it. You're done. That's all you can do.
Yeah, it definitely kind of is you're kind of in that mode to hear. You mentioned, is it, some of the guys you were kind of talking about, because I know, Anderson Simmons come up. Obviously everyone talks about Trevor Story. Was it Miguel Rojas you were kind of talking about fairly recently?
Yeah, he seems like he would make the most sense. He would, you'd have control of him this year and next. Thing I really like about him, and I know he has struggled at the plate the last month. His numbers have come down a little bit, but he's still a significant upgrade over Kyle Farmer. And I think at this stage, he's probably a significant upgrade over Jose Barrio, unless he just took off. He seems like he would make the most sense because, you know, you'd have an extra, you're not just a half a season or 2 months. You get him next year. And he also has played multiple infield positions. So he kind of gives you more flexibility. So if Barrio does come up and takes off, you know, you could plug him in somewhere else. And
what do you think it's going to take to get him or someone like him?
It's hard to say. I think you could definitely get him without giving up any of your top dogs, your Hunter Greens or your Nick Lodolos or something like that. I don't know. I mean, I have no idea what Nick Senzel's value is. That would be kind of maybe an interesting swap where you're swapping, you know, more the upside with the years. I think, you know, like if you look at like a trade generator for whatever it's worth, it probably says they're about an equal value for each other.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what Nick Senzel's value is. I doubt the Reds know what Nick Senzel's value is. I mean, I bet it's vastly different team to team, you know, the teams you're looking to trade at. So I don't know, something like that. I think they should absolutely be knocking on the door of Trevor Story. If they're not, they're cheating themselves and
I agree.
Their fans. I mean, no, I don't think they should go give up Hunter Green or Nick Lodolo for him. But I'd give up quite a bit. I mean, he's you acquired Trevor Story. I think he's probably the best position player on the team. I know people look at his stats from 2021 and might scoff at that, but you look at what he's done in the past and, you know, what he's capable of at the shortstop position, he'd be up there. So he definitely changes the entire trajectory of the team. So.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you kind of put him in that 2 spot with those guys around him. Certainly makes things a lot more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think everyone shot down on Twitter this week my Chad Green fantasy. They were saying the Yankees probably aren't going to be doing it. And I understand that. But, you know, one can dream.
Yeah, it depends what they do over the next 2 weeks. I mean, he definitely, I think, makes a lot of sense. And I think I said before, I love the ability to pitch multiple innings.
Yeah, I do too. So, yeah, I don't know, man. We'll find out. But I think this is just, it's fun to be in this situation again. You know what I mean? Like, I miss this 12 and 13 team so much where it was like they're competitive and they have a chance to win. So they went and got some guys, you know, like, so like being here again and like having this feeling come back has been so nice. I don't know how the second half of the season is going to go by any means, but just the fact that we're feeling this again, we're here again, like, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
Sure beats the alternative.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, 48 and 42, you know, it was what, 3 years ago, the Reds started 3 and 17, 3 and 18.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a couple years ago.
Got fired because of it. Yeah.
That was, you know, that wasn't very long ago, you know? So I don't know, maybe that's why I appreciate this a little bit more than some people, because, you know, you're not going to get this every year.
No, you're not. And I think, you know, those years kind of taught us that more than anything. The 3-18 year, the David Bell's first 9 games are 1-8, and, you know, just things like that. And, you know, even 2020, you know, they won opening day and then they kind of struggled quite a bit, obviously, we know, until, you know, the last month of the year. And then they kind of got hot and we're ready to run the postseason. So yeah, this is awesome, man. It's certainly a lot of fun. It makes it good for Carlos. He has 2 teams right now that are in this and competing for a wild card spot right now. So I'm sure it's a little pretty exciting for him too.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do if Brewers take off, run over the division, and Padres
fall apart?
Padres let the Reds hang around, and it comes down to those 2 teams for that final wild card spot. What are you going to do?
I'll probably watch the game alone, turn my phone off, and root for the Reds.
There you go.
Yeah.
Joey above all.
Yeah. And then, yeah, whenever the 1-9's gone, then we'll have a different story.
No.
I get it. I totally get it. That's like you know, people follow LeBron around whatever team he goes for, so they root for. I respect it.
Joey's going to take over for Crawl when he's done and be the GM.
Oui.
That'd be awesome.
No, it would be terrible. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? You know, all the think about what what poor Crawl has to deal with on a daily basis. I wouldn't wish that on anyone.
True. Yeah. It'd be like 8 guys, 8 on base, 8 high on base percentage guys would just be the team. Cool. Playing Moneyball. I like it. I'm into it. Yeah, I think what was one of the things I want to touch on with this kind of the Brewers thing's coming up, kind of looking at what's coming up also with this homestand. You've got the Mets, which it looks like, I mean, you're gonna have to guess that the first game they play out of the break is probably Jacob deGrom starting. So
I believe I saw somewhere where they said there's a very good chance they might try to give him a couple extra days of rest and maybe like start him on Sunday. I saw that somewhere. So what a break that would be to miss him.
For him.
Yeah.
For him.
Yeah, because the Mets, I mean, for those who aren't following, obviously I know that Jacob deGrom is incredible. But they're not exactly a team that's hitting very well either. Francisco Lindor, their $300 million shortstop, isn't necessarily playing the $300 million game. So that's kind of in the Reds' favor. The Cardinals obviously been struggling. They're kind of slowly weeping away. So we talk about all the things the Reds can do going into the trade deadline. There's a really good chance this division looks super, super different in August. What do the Cardinals do? Do they do anything? Or they kind of stay put and just kind of pack it in for the year? Do they try to, sell something off? Do they try to make a move to try to potentially get back in? Because I don't think they're super out of it as much as I would like them to be. We obviously know what the Cubs are going to, I would be very surprised if Chris Bryant is still on the team come August.
Him to the Reds.
That's become, people have been saying that a lot lately. I don't know how
we actually had a
happen.
question. We had a question. What do you think about Chris Bryant in a Reds uniform?
I mean,
he would look sexy. I think he would look very
sexy. It would look good on him. Yeah. He's played what? First base, third base, center field, and left field this year?
Yeah, he actually said, I actually heard him on the Purple Carpet show. He said that his favorite position to play is center field. So, I mean, I would assume be where you would play him, but I can't imagine the Reds wanting to give up whatever it would be for a guy that's at a position that's not a big need for them. And on top of that, the Cubs trading Chris Bryant to the Cincinnati
division
Reds,
team, yeah,
who just whipped him around and embarrassed him. So.
Yeah, and get him and Amir on the same team. What could possibly go wrong there?
Him and Rizzo on the same team.
Oh, that's yeah.
I think Rizzo's the bigger beef.
Yeah, it would look spectacular. It would be awesome. I can't imagine the front office being cool with like what it would take, like you said, to have him for 8 weeks.
Yeah. Just on the Cardinals, I was kind of curious. I kind of looked up their free agents. They have no one that's like really of value that's a free agent. Their free agents are Wainwright, Molina, and Miller. I can't imagine them, even if they really wanted to, trading Wainwright or Molina. I guess Andrew Miller maybe is a guy they trade, but he hasn't really pitched all that well.
Yeah.
Everyone else they still have control of beyond this year. And when you trade for Arenado, I'm assuming planning on trying to contend the next couple years. So the Cubs situation is a lot different, just because who could have saw that their starting pitching would not have held up? Who possibly could have saw that coming? I don't know, but yeah, I mean, like they're toast. Their pitching's not good enough.
Yeah, and then obviously the post Theo era, man, it's a thing. When he comes in and he wins, when he leaves, it's like he left in like Boston that year. They won like 68 games. The Cubs are going through this year.
Like LeBron, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because I was listening to Baseball Barkey the other day, and they were talking about like with the Cubs traded Yu Darvish. It's like for them to fix this season, they'd have to trade for a Yu Darvish. Now they can't even do that. So it's like, yeah. And then obviously the Pirates, we talked about their 2 guys. Those guys, I feel like they'll probably move everyone they can besides Brian Hayes. I feel like he's kind of the guy. He's going to be their guy they hold on to, obviously. But yeah, I imagine that a lot of people are going to be asking for their pretty good assets. Like, I don't know, is Gregory Blanco still good according to like advanced numbers, Nick, or is he still just like average? Or
I think he's pretty average. He started off the year just awful, but
Yeah.
I think he was playing pretty well of late. I'll give you my riveting television here. No, he's terrible. What 73 weighted runs created plus? 41 last year, 87 the year before. Yeah, he's pretty bad. I think he got hot for like a week, maybe. Yeah, he's not good.
So teams won't be calling for Polanco more than likely.
Yeah, and he's on a 5-year, $36 million deal. So the Pirates will be paying to send him anywhere they chose to.
Yeah, that's true. Real quick, a couple more things. So obviously the draft is this past week, and the Reds stocked up on some talent. They got a shortstop. I know everyone's excited about that, and they want to know if he can play on the major league team next week.
Let's go.
I don't even think he signed his contract yet, but we talked about this a little bit last. Actually, it was probably in our text chain, but I always love the reaction to baseball draft picks because it's like, oh man, that guy's going to be a star, and it's like,
he's a sleeper. I can't believe he slipped all the way down to 13. What?
Yeah, and a lot of it is like, well, some teams draft those guys so they can save money. And like, it's not like
just drafted all pitchers.
Yeah, the Angels took 20 pitchers.
So like, we've had enough. We've had enough of this pitching problem.
We've got Ohtani. We've got Trout. They'll score all of our runs. We got Rendon. Let's just get all pitchers.
Were they all college pitchers so they can like
one high school pitcher?
One high school.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's insane. The draft's wild. I mean, I think half of these teams don't know what they're picking. I mean, they're like, yeah, we like this guy, but who knows?
It cracks me up about the broadcast whenever they're talking about these guys. Oh, this is a guy that I really like. That bitch, you haven't seen him play. You've seen highlights just like we're seeing tonight.
You say that about every 3 guys. They all rotate. This guy's the one you like. This guy's the one you like.
That coach, I don't know if y'all which one y'all watched, if y'all watched it at all, but the coach from Vanderbilt, he looked like he was so mad the whole time. He just never smiled. It's cracking me up.
Well, yeah, like when you watch like the football or the basketball drafts, I know they're completely different animals. There's always like the analyst that's like, I don't really like that pick. In baseball, like every guy's like that's a difference maker right there.
Yeah, I don't. Do you remember a single time anyone said, "Ooh, I don't know about that one"?
Yeah,
they're like, "Ooh, yeah, ooh, yeah."
Or do you ever remember any of the projection, like Gregory Polanco right there? That's he's a. No, it's always like, oh, that's Ken Griffey Jr. And yeah, this could be the next Mike Trout. Like
Henry Davis is Johnny Bench and Carl Yastrzemski mixed in one, and you're like, what? Huh?
Oh boy.
Yeah. And then obviously the sucky news for baseball fans to kind of tie here. So Ronald Acuna Jr. tears his ACL, obviously now out for the year, which sucks for baseball fans. Obviously, the Braves have already had a rough year as it is. It certainly helps the Nick Castellanos MVP candidacy that people are starting to bring up. I still kind of feel like DeGrom has got to be the front runner because that's what the betting odds are right now. But could you see obviously with the year he's having, if he keeps up this pace, is Castellanos you're looking like in that top 3 MVP voting possibility for the National League?
If he keeps up what he's doing now, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think he kept up what he's doing now. I think he'd be a lock. I mean, maybe the only way he could win it is if I don't see any way DeGrom comes back to earth. I mean, if DeGrom gets
Has
hurt.
he touched earth before?
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. It would get very interesting if DeGrom doesn't have enough innings to qualify for the ERA title. It'd be hard to vote. He might still have the most, wins above replacement, but I feel like there would definitely be some voters be like, I'm not voting for a guy for MVP that didn't even qualify for the ERA title. That could be interesting because I don't think he qualifies right now.
Really? I didn't know that.
I don't think he does. I could be wrong. I'm wrong a lot, but
I don't feel like you are though.
Yeah.
We know.
He does. he does. He comes up, but he's only at 92, so he must just like barely. It's 1 inning per game, right?
Yeah.
Carlos, I feel like you should know that.
I was never in the mix for that, so I didn't pay it much attention, Nick.
Don't they have ERA titles in Double A?
I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know.
You didn't get the.
I would think you at least get some sort of plaque or something.
Yeah, you didn't get the ERA title for the Florida State League.
Nope.
What about the FIP title?
Nope.
Okay.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, I think we've touched on everything for the week, unless you guys have anything you want to throw out there real quick before we close out.
I want to get through some of these questions here.
Y'all want to talk about Marty Brenneman or?
Nope. I just want to say I really love the Reds' current broadcasting situation. I think they do a fantastic job.
Agreed.
Why won't Bob sign Castellanos to an extension? Asking for a friend.
I don't think they're even going to talk right now about it, right?
Yeah, I mean, number one, his agent is Scott Boras,
Right?
Yeah, because he came out and said something about that, like how he'll won't speak about it. He'll wait till after the season plays out about as far as opting out.
I do feel like that would be pretty dumb on his part if the Reds were like actually willing to talk about it, because I don't know what in the second half he could do to up his value, right? I mean,
Right.
like he's already like at the max, so I don't know. I mean, I as much as I think we all would want them to, I don't know if right now would be the best time, because you probably should wait and see, what he does over the final 2 months, because it might change things, might in your favor. I don't see if he does keep it up at really changing what he's going to want or what he deserves, so I don't know. We always want to rush to contract extensions for our players. But you have to, remember some of the ones that have you've done that before, and I'm not going to mention names, but you've done that before. You've rushed for it and it's backfired. So I can't fault them for that. You can fault them for a lot of things. I can't really fault them for that. I don't think any team would probably be really doing that right now.
Yeah, I think the other thing too, people got to look at is what's the market going to look like. So let's say he opts out. Like, these big market teams, they all pretty much have corner outfielders. I'm not saying teams wouldn't take them, but I bring up the Yankees all the time because everyone knows that they always have these like deep pockets, but they're paying Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge about $500 million a year combined. So, for their, not since they combined, but $500 million total for their salaries. So I don't think that they're going to be able to move those guys very easily. Obviously, I don't know what the Red Sox look like and things like that. But, like I said, teams would want him, obviously. But I think like that kind of plays in practice too. Like if he opts out, where are his other, options? I think the other thing too, like you said, is, things can change. Also, my other point, if he does sign, let's say that they do this and he does sign the extension and we buy the opt out. No one can say anything about how much money he makes. We can't go through this again. When Joey everyone's like, Joey's going to leave, and then he signs. You're like, that was too much money. It's like, no, we don't. It's one or the other. One or the other.
Yeah, pick a lane.
We're not playing that game anymore.
Yeah, the other thing too to think about, there's like 5 elite shortstops that are free agents this year. You see like the Reds situation with shortstops. Teams are going to want to fill that first. The shortstops that are leaving outside of Colorado, they're all leaving good teams, like the Astros. They're going to want to replace Correa. Who else do we got?
Correa, Great American Ballpark.
Yeah. He has a lot of his back though, man. That really, the back injuries are just.
We got Kyle Farmer, baby.
Oh,
is Xander a free agent?
Is who?
Is Xander Bogaerts a free agent?
Think he's got one more year.
Okay.
But Marcus Semien is a free agent. I know he's playing second base for the Blue Jays, but
he says he still takes balls at shortstop every day.
Yeah, and I mean he's putting up elite defensive numbers at second base, and he can clearly play shortstop. He's only doing it because of Bo Bichette. Hot take, I would probably switch them. I think Bo Bichette's a really bad defensive player.
What do the numbers say, Nick?
He's a really bad defensive player. Not Suarez shortstop level, but
You watch your mouth.
I want to get some of these other questions. Is Mustaka still working at Jake Sweeney Chevrolet? It's the best employer in the city. I'll have to check on my sources on that, Roger. I do
love the question.
Oh my god,
That's fantastic.
question we've had.
That is very good work.
Send him some cards.
And we got another guy pointing out the Mike Freeman effect. The Reds are, is it 9-0 now?
9-0.
With Mike Freeman in the starter. What a stat. That is the most Red stat of all time.
Mike Freeman, the human rabbit.
Some buffoon asked when we're gonna have Pete Rose on the air. Probably not.
Never
going to happen.
Never say never. Because you never know.
And everyone keeps asking when we are going to have Ryan Castellanos on. We are working on that. Not going to announce anything yet because we don't have it set in stone, but he will be on at some point. As long as he, decides he doesn't like us anymore or something. But yeah,
he
shut us out last week.
As long as y'all keep saying we shouldn't sign his brother, I'm sure he'll be fine.
Yeah. No. They should sign him. They should just wait to sign him. Ryan, I'm editing this out. So
yeah. Yeah. That would be fun. That's what I'm looking forward to. I know we're working pretty hard on getting some guests, so you guys have been killing it. I can't wait to announce what we have coming up, man.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll have some more announcements later on once we get closer to the shows. But yeah, lots of good guests, and we'll keep working at that to hopefully make the show good.
Yeah, I'm with it.
I can't believe nobody said anything about my background here.
Yet?
Yeah. Is that a what's the big big craze bike? Is that a Pelotonin?
The what?
Is it the Pelotonin exercise bike you got back there?
Peloton?
Yeah.
Peloton. That's it.
Pelotonin.
Yeah.
Wooden horse here that's like 87 years old. I think like my wife's grandma made it or grandpa made it or some shit.
I like your background, Carlos.
Hey,
So
family, man.
That's what my neighbor, shout out to my neighbor, he's watching. He's like, we got to do something about your.
We'll teach you how to do I
can set it up. I can put some the sound pads and everything and maybe some no.
Just do a virtual background.
We can teach you to do a virtual background. I used to have the Technodrome as my background from Ninja Turtles. That was mine forever. They got some questions at work for being unprofessional though, so I don't get it.
Yeah.
Well, I think other than that, do we have any other questions we need to touch on? Get out that we got asked her.
I think we got them all. Thanks everyone for watching and chatting, and always enjoy the questions.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you all again. So housekeeping again before we get out of here. So if you are subscribed to Nick's YouTube channel where you can get our shows if you're not checking out live every week, but we are on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play. Our Apple Podcast reviews are getting up. Thank you guys for taking some time to do that. We could definitely use more. So please, if you do have a moment, you haven't done it yet, just a simple few seconds of your time, a nice 5-star review. Tim, Nick, and Carlos are cool, and thumbs up, and we'll take it. So thank you all for tuning in. We definitely appreciate everything. Have a good night. Enjoy this Brewers series, and hopefully we'll be back soon. Talk about getting ready for the rest of the Mets and Cardinals series coming up.